Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm actually going to start a new series which is going to be my different gear setup loadouts. As you can see, I'm kind of like kitted up right now. So the one I'm going to do today, I'm going to talk through is kind of like my indoor CQB loadout. I've been playing a lot recently in Battle Lab in Southern California. It's kind of like a site which is indoors. It's in a warehouse kind of thing. It's very dark. It's very like corridors and stairways, close quarters, CQB. And I like it a lot because they play like 5 till 10 p.m. weekdays. I've got a couple of kids, and so it's quite hard for me to play on the weekend sometimes. So being able to, after work, go and play it somewhere like this is pretty fun. So I never used to play CQB that much, but the usual setup that I go for is something like this. So I thought I'd take you guys through it, why I've chosen certain things, what actually kind of made me think about, you know, the reason behind it and what I like and what I don't like. This is actually going to be a setup specifically for this, my MPX-K. I do use other replicas when I do play CQB as well. I'll switch between them, at least 2 replicas in a game day. So I'll do a different kind of get up on this. So today is going to be my MPX-K get up, which is going to be my MPX-K indoor CQB get up. So let's probably start with the first thing which you can see on my front, which is obviously my MPX-K. I have done a few videos on this in the past. It is awesome. I absolutely love it. I'll give you a quick overview of it just so that you can kind of get an idea of what it is if this is the first time you're watching the channel. This is an APFG MPX-K, so it's copying the SIG MPX-K. In terms of things that I have on it, I run an EOTech on this with a PTS Unity riser right here. It's kind of like a knockoff from, it's a knockoff Unity tactical riser. This is a real one, so it is very expensive. I have an actual lens protector normally that I'll put on this just so that I don't get that shot out, because that would be expensive and very annoying and you may not get that replaced. I have a tracer on here, which is a replica of a SIG tracer. It actually has a tracer unit inside, an Ace-Tech one. So because I'm playing indoors and I'm playing at night, or not at night, but it's dark, I like using a tracer unit. Like for me, it's kind of like one of those things where I like being able to see where my BBs are flying. This actual sight limits the BB weight to 0.25. So what I'll run most of the time is 0.25 gram tracer BBs. So I'll just make sure that's turned on before I'm playing so I can see green little streaks coming out. So the great thing about this SIG replica is that it will allow me to put a tracer in it. So I just have to put that on. I'm running tracer BBs. That's great. This is a mod light. So a kind of expensive flashlight on here on an Arisaka mount. This is a Surefire pressure switch that I run it off. I don't actually have a laser on this one. A lot of the time I will run a laser or a PET box with a laser built into it. Here is my cable management, which is like a little M-lock rail slot. I can't remember the name of this one or who makes it. I have a Midwest Industries real steel hand grip on here. I have a Sig Sauer telescopic stock, which is real as well. That's on here. This is a Magpul K2 Plus grip. I have a large extended kind of mag release button. Externally, that's it. I've done some upgrades on the inside as well, but that's probably about it. I, of course, run the APFG kind of like VFC variant MPX-K mags. These are awesome. I absolutely love them, and they're just very, very easy to reload. Very, very easy to kind of carry around. They're light. I have a I can't remember the name of it. It's another company that I found on eBay. They don't actually make these slings anymore, but they're really, really great slings. And I actually put an attachment on all of these so that when I am actually kind of like using it, I will pull this out, I'll rip it behind, and that gives me a lot more movement with my actual stock here. So that means that I can basically pull this, tighten that up if I want to keep it on front, whip it round, and I've got that there. So that's one thing I always have on my slings. The other thing that I always have is now I've done it, I can't find it, is a Magpul QD mount. So what I will do is, I've actually got one on here as well. I'll move this mount over to this guy right here. and that allows me then to run this as a 1 point. So I've got it normally as a 2 point sling, but I can run it as a 1 point sling. I really like this setup, mainly because I like the 2 point if I go to my secondary, but I like the 1 point if I am shooting left, and I'll switch shoulders when I'm shooting. So I like being able to like switch between. So if I'm moving between like areas, rooms, I might just switch it to the 1 point, and then I can very easily just switch that back to 2, and I'm good to go. So that's kind of how I have my primary setup here. I'm going to move this out the way so that you guys can see what I'm talking about here. You've seen me talk about this before, but this is actually the SMG placard from Unobtainium Gear. I really love this. It allows me to run 4 SMG pouches above here. This is the variation which is built for the MPX-K, so it fits these mags absolutely perfectly. I've just knocked one of these actual mag bases off here, which is great. So I'm going to take this one out, so I'll show it to you. I actually need to screw that back in, it looks like. So this allows me basically just to draw these very easily, to re-index them very easily with this Tegris tab here. So I love this. The other thing that I love is you can get different variants. So I have a variant here which allows me to run my radio into this little pouch, so that's great. And then it also has a grenade pouch as well. When I'm playing indoors, I love grenades. Like, it's probably one of my most favorite things. It's a big part of my gameplay. I'm very aggressive in how I play, and if I'm playing with a couple of teammates, we'll normally stack on doors, and I'll normally carry quite a lot of grenades with me. So this is one of the Matrix, this is actually loaded at the moment because I just brought it back, but this is one of the Matrix BB shower grenades. They're about $70. I don't normally like these because I like hearing big bangs. It's again something where I like that more milsim style, so normally I will not run these, but the place that I play at Battle Lab, you don't actually get kills for like your Thunder Bee noise grenades. You only get kills when BBs hit people. So for this, basically going around a corner, throwing that in and then following, that is great. There's no like delay on it, so it kind of doesn't give anyone the chance to kind of go anywhere. Another thing I'll do is I have this Agilite little pouch here, and this basically just velcros underneath where my Unobtainium Gear placard is. These I love. I run one of these on my plate carrier as well, which I'll show you in another video. But these are the grenades that I'll usually use when I'm playing outdoors. The Thunder Bees, this really is a CO2 grenade that's sound, so it's going to make a large bang. And this in my outdoor field does allow kills, so I'll normally just use these when I'm playing outdoors, but I'll normally at least have one of these with me, because when I have them indoors, it has that 2 to 3 second delay. And if I throw this round a corner there, it's really loud. It stuns people. My pool guy's here doing some pool work, so he's probably looking at me like, what are you doing? It basically makes a huge bang. And what I realize is when I'm indoors, I actually normally will run a helmet. That's another video as well. But I'll run a helmet with contact ear protection on. So when something goes super loud bang, it doesn't sound that loud for me. This indoors, in like that kind of setting where you've got like enclosed spaces, low ceilings, etc., it can be incredibly loud for other people. So just the like actual flashbang effect, there's no flash, but actually throwing that round, having them see a grenade about to go off, they kind of run, bang, it goes off, and then we can just follow into that room. It works actually really well, which I didn't think it would. I've got another version of the Matrix here. This is the ASG Apocalypse. I'll normally have 2 of these because I'll set them up and I'll like between the actual games in the safe zone, I'll redo them. But that's just something that I absolutely love in my gameplay style. Other thing I do is I have my battle belt. So this battle belt is something that I will pretty much use on everything. I'll use it on my CQB gear, and I'll also use the same one on my outdoor, on my kind of like when I'm playing outdoors as well. It is actually multicam, which I should probably think about getting one that's not multicam and fits in with my grey Ranger green kind of setup for indoors. But I love this. This is the Agilite like magnetic one. So it has 2 magnets right here, which means that when I put it on, I can know exactly where it is on the inner belt and then just kind of wrap it around. I think it's a fantastic belt. It has probably one of the best belts. It is the best belt that I've ever tried. Other thing that I'll put on these is I've always got Always got a mag pouch. This actually is the Haley strategic one. I normally keep this on my battle belt because I won't switch this out, and I'll be able to run my M4 like AR magazines in there. I can run my Sega mags, they just squeeze in. This has enough retention on it that I can hold that in there as well. So I do have these that I can put on extra, but a lot of the time I won't. Another thing I will do sometimes is this is like a Dangler which has more of my MPX mags on it. Instead of having this as my Dangler, I may run that there if I just need more magazines. I'm not in need of the actual grenades as much, but that kind of varies game by game and what kind of game style we're playing. So I'll always have a mag pouch there. I'll always have a pistol mag pouch here. I used to have at least 2 of these. I never do anymore. It's not something I feel like I go through that many pistol mags. So I'll normally only keep 1 on here just so that like I have that backup, but I rarely have ever needed 2, especially if I'm using something like this, which is almost that like, you know, very short. I don't need it necessarily for CQB because I've got this already there. My pistol's like an extra. This also has a little flick here that just holds your gloves, so I'll always wear gloves when I play, and this is just something which I can just hook stuff onto if I need to. It's like a little magnet. Can't remember the name of that one. Another one I'll do is this, which is my dump pouch. This is actually from T-Rex Arms. I love the dump pouches they do, mainly because it's got this kind of like cover hook here, which I think is great because if I'm running around and bouncing, then it does not, it doesn't lose the mags out of it, and I think that's something that can definitely happen with other dump pouches. It doesn't have the like pull tab, but I find actually I like this more because sometimes if I have the like elastic pulled in too far, getting my hand in there can be a bit of a nightmare, whereas with this I know that if I've got these guys in here, like they're not going to just kind of like bump out, and I know I can feel that space where my pouch is. It also has a mesh bottom, so when I'm playing outdoors, I play in Southern California, it's a lot cooler here, sorry, it's a lot hotter here and a lot more dusty than most places you play, and so if you've got dust in there, it actually comes out. Otherwise I do find sometimes my whole dump pouch will just be covered in like dust by the end. Behind here I have a couple of like attachments that will slide on and off these QLS mount, the ELS mounts. This is actually a copy or a new style grenade from Sweden, I believe it is, but it's an impact sound grenade, so that little thing there will pop. I fill this with green gas in there. I'll do another video on one of these, but it's like the XL Burst from Airsoft Innovations, but a different variant. They don't make that anymore, so I do have some of those. But generally I'll hold that, or like a Quake 8 or something which is pyro, if I'm allowed to use pyro. I also have another mag pouch here. This a lot of the time is like my backup mag pouch. So it's something that I won't always have loaded, but if I know that I'm going to need something extra and I run out of these, I run out of my primary first one, then I've got that behind me. Again, won't always use it, but that's there if I need it. I have another ELS here, so if I need to put another mag there, I can do that. If I need to put a grenade like holster on there, I can do that. Anything really that I need that I have an ELS attachment with, I can do. And then I finally have a drop leg holster mount from Safariland. So this just goes through here. This is the mount which basically just allows me to have a QLS here. I've also mounted 2 ELSs, so again I can just insert stuff, but I have a load of different holsters. So like this is one for this Glock 34. So what I really like with this, and this is probably why I run this belt most of the time, is by just having this with the thigh strap, I could be like, oh, okay, I'm going to take out my Glock 34. I've got that there. I can then, by just pushing the tabs at the bottom, say, you know what, I want to take this out, and I will just slap that in, and then I've got that instead. If it's both Glocks, I don't need to switch the mag, but I can switch the mags quite easily. This will take most mags in the mag pouch. So I've got that. Secondary, a lot of the time if I'm playing indoors, again, I want the tracer. So I have this, which is a Glock 45 Elite Force. This has got a lot of internal upgrades, including a threaded outer barrel, which allows me to run this G&G tracer unit. I quite like how small this thing is, otherwise I probably wouldn't run it full time. but I have to say if I'm using tracer BBs indoors, then I do want to have that tracer ability on my firearms, on my replicas. And what's very cool is this is a TLR1HL weapons light from Streamlined, and this holster actually just grabs onto that. So if I want to switch my actual replica and go, hey, I want to put this on the 34, what it's gripping onto is this. So as long as I've got one of these lights, I can just basically use that as the holster, and it really holds it in place. I went through a few of these trying to find them, so that was a little bit of a nightmare, but you know, eventually I found one. It worked really well. Again, with these ELSs, I can kind of attach, detach, etc. That's probably it. I will switch between gear. Right now I'm wearing this like black effectively like hoodie jacket. This actually for me is probably too hot. A lot of the time I'll just play in a t-shirt, and I get a lot of those like red marks, the little cuts and bruises just from getting shot. But if it is cold, or if it's kind of like I need more of cover, I'll wear something along these lines. These trousers I absolutely love. I can't think of who makes them right now. They're very expensive, and I will think of it as soon as I finish this actual video, but it has knee pads on it. I love kind of actually wearing knee pads because I will get down on one knee a lot of the time, and if I don't have trousers which have a knee pad on them, I definitely feel like I don't play as well, or it definitely affects my performance. And then I'll normally, if it's the indoor stuff, I'll wear some kind of trainers or lightweight kind of like hiking shoes, because again, it's fast play. I'm not having to step in puddles, or like, you know, it's not in trenches or dust or dirt. It's normally inside a building, and so therefore being able to move fast is just an advantage. So if I'm wearing this kind of setup, it's not as much my milsim, it's more kind of like special forces kind of vibe, then that's normally what I'll run. So that probably goes through most, guys, of what I have on this setup. I will vary things slightly. As I said, like I'll do another one actually with one of my shotgun setups, etc. But this is my MPX-K setup. Maybe what I'll do quickly is just give you guys a little taste of what my kind of like transition is like. I've had quite a few people who have said, hey, can you make some like transition shorts, do something along those lines. So I'll quickly just do one of those for you so you can see like what my reloads are like. This, I would say, is probably one of the best things you can have in Airsoft. Like a dump pouch for me is amazing. So I got out the Pit Viper glasses. So let me just make sure I've got mags in here, that I've got BBs in them. None of these mags have BBs in them. Okay, so this one's got BBs in it, and what I'll do is I will, and this guy does as well. Okay, so I don't know what gas is in here, so that might be a little bit of an issue, but we'll find out. So what I'll always do if I'm playing is I've got that a little bit looser. I've got this on safe, obviously, as always. I'll normally only play semi-auto when I'm actually firing, just because I've got gas mags, like 35 round capacity. I'm not going to go through it, but I will show you guys quickly what it looks like just when I, let me just check and see if I've got BBs. No, so I've got no BBs in the pistol, so I'll just do a couple of dry fires on the pistol. But this is generally what it looks like when I'm playing. If I can give you guys a bit of a look. So if I'm coming up, it's a... So that's kind of where my like transitions are. That was a little bit slow because I realized I hadn't actually like cycled my or made ready my pistol. So that normally would have been a lot quicker. A lot of the time I also use this depending on when I'm using it, but that'll be my quick kind of transition between primary to secondary. I also unloaded that, which I didn't need to during that, but hopefully that gives you guys a bit of an idea of one of the setups that I'll run. I'd love your feedback. Let me know, guys, if you think this was valuable or not. I'm going to probably do one of my milsim get-ups where I'll maybe do it on this guy, the XM5, because a lot of people want to see it. And then I can go from there and see what else there is. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you very soon in another one. Goodbye.